What is going on, everybody? This is Nazdarachi coming back to you on behalf of 5 9 with some more news about Marvel stuff. My good buddy Nalar, who will also be featured in the video here, go ahead and say hi Nalar, to the audience.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm a big Marvel guy, at least with the cinematic universe, so I was excited to drag Nas in here and watch this. I mean, I've already seen the trailer. Nas hasn't himself, but this will be a genuine reaction from him and kind of a breakdown afterwards. So hopefully y'all enjoy this.
Yeah, obviously I knew of the show's existence, but I didn't know the trailer had come out already because just Easter weekend and, all types of busyness. So he made me aware of it, and now we are here. So we're going to actually watch with it, with you guys at the same time. Watch it, but there won't be any audio for it, and of course it'll be kind of smaller on the screen. But this is what we're gonna do here to kind of go through it with y'all. Of course, if you want to watch the full trailer, it's available on YouTube. Just go check out the official release. It's actually #1 on trending right now. So wow, hopefully I'm expecting big things from this trailer if it's #1 on trending. Obviously, it's not something that people have been sleeping on. So let's actually go ahead. We're just gonna watch through it first and mostly be kind of quiet, and then we'll come back and go frame by frame through it. It's only 2 minutes and 16 seconds long, so here we go. Actually, maybe I'll narrate since there is kind of no audio.
Yeah.
Okay, Loki. Last time we saw him, he had the Tesseract, and he disappeared with it.
Yep.
Okay, the Timekeepers. Loki is in jail with one of the Total Recall or the Running Man exploding necklaces.
Owen Wilson.
Owen
Wedding
Wilson was just
Crashers.
playing with a toadstool-looking computer from Mario. Oh, okay. Everything you've ever said. I love that this is Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston together.
Yep. The time. Fix the time, huh?
So wait, yes, Steve. I never actually even considered that. That at the end of Endgame, Steve couldn't return the Tesseract because they didn't have it anymore.
They called them the Loki variant, which makes sense. Oh, I like all the locations.
Okay. Looks like he was at Asgard there, and it was looking kind of messed up. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm immediately the most interested in. I would just say my immediate reaction is that I'm the most interested in this series, I think, than any of the other ones so far. I mean, not that I don't like Scarlet Witch and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but from my personal cataloging of which ones of the Marvel movies I like the most, like the Thor ones, at least Ragnarok, but the dynamic between Thor and Loki is the most attractive for me in this type of TV format. Of course, Thor won't be here, but continue with your thought. What were you going to say?
Well, I mean, highlights really how much they're diversifying their type of content on Disney Plus, right? Because you got the WandaVision, which had the whole sitcom thing, and then towards the end of the series, it got very much into the MCU of it all. And then Falcon Winter Soldier, which we're halfway through right now, is very grounded for the most part, right? And now we're going back to something more fantastical, right? Which is good. When I first saw the lineup for Loki being in there for Disney Plus, I didn't think too much of it. But now seeing the trailer, I am actually very, very hyped. I'm very much looking forward to it. So if anything, this just shows you that the people at Marvel are really taking their chances and really diversifying their content, which is good because not everyone's gonna love the grounded stuff. They want more the fantastic nature of things, and you got that with Loki. But then if you want some more comedy, sitcom kind of thing, you've got WandaVision. So as things keep rolling out, this is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I wasn't really sure how committed Tom Hiddleston was to this role, especially seeing as how he effectively gets killed in Infinity War. Like, and I didn't.
Yep.
I thought this show was going to be at the time more of like a prequel or kind of like like B-roll side content of like, oh, these are the events of his life. But now seeing how they really are, like Loki is, for all effective purposes, still fully involved in the MCU. Like even though he died in Infinity War, like obviously he's still like part of the whole situation. You could see in this initial frame right here where he's, I guess, being brought to the time police or time whatever their organization is called.
It's called the TVA, Time Variance Authority, which is part of the comics.
Okay. Yeah, straight from
kind of caught up a little bit. Yeah. You're right. What makes this interesting, you just got to remember, he's the Loki from Avengers 1, right? When they caught him and then he slipped away with the Tesseract, right? So he has no knowledge. This isn't the same Loki as what what I would call canon Loki, right? The canon Loki died in Infinity War. This is the variant Loki, as what they actually said in the trailer here. So something to remember, because I'm kind of interested to see how they play him out. Because if you follow Loki after Avengers 1 through the end, he gets a whole like redemption arc, right? In Ragnarok, he helps Thor to save Asgard by killing Asgard. But you know what I mean, right? He has this whole redemption arc. We're taking Loki at a very specific time point where he has no redemption arc. He's still the villain or chaotic evil or neutral, whatever you want to call it, that he was. So it's going to be interesting how they develop his character from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, and to counter that, I would argue that although you're right, Loki has experienced a lot more, especially with the battle with Hela. I would say that most of his core personality probably hasn't or wouldn't have changed very much. Being that they're thousands of years old, so even just the past few years is just a drop in the bucket for him. So in all effective terms, like on-screen presence, I expect him to be almost unnoticeably different than even Infinity War Loki. And the fact that they've caught him like immediately, like as soon as he warped out, this soldier has the Tesseract in her hand. And again, I said this during the trailer, but it looks like he's got
like Running Man
from the Running Man, where if he tries to leave, his head will explode. Immediately they show off like Owen Wilson here, and I think that's going to make for a really neat dynamic, probably one that's much more comical. I mean, like Hemsworth and Hiddleston as Thor and Loki together, there was like a lot of room for comedy there, especially later in the series when they started embracing Thor having more to his personality than just like, I'm a stoic thunder god. But we credit Taika Waititi a lot for that. But so I think this Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston dynamic is going to be even more comedic, since I don't see Owen Wilson as necessarily as much of a fighter with Thor. So maybe less action sequences, more like detective buddy cop kind of comedy almost, which I'm quite excited for. Because each one of these shows has had kind of different like sub themes to it, right? Like WandaVision was the mind-bending, magic sorcery one. You have the Falcon and Winter Soldier is like, the two soldiers on the front line, and it also is like calling back to, Iron Man and Civil War a lot. And then in this one, if we get more of like the detective type theme going on, I don't know, that seems really appealing. At least with again Owen Wilson and Hiddleston.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Owen Wilson. I've always liked him as an actor. Really, I love most of his comedies that he's done. He just looks really old here, which is kind of crazy to think that. Like, one of my favorite movies with him is Wedding Crashers, which is, I guess, about like 10 plus years old now. So nuts to think that he's gone that way. And yeah, this portion that you're scrubbing through right here is pretty hilarious. This it reminds me of King Yemma.
Yeah, like he just shows up at the desk, and this is going to provide for some really interesting ways for Tom Hiddleston to maybe act a little bit more. And what I mean by that is like this time variance agency, again, like they highlight it later in the episode, they know every single thing that he's ever done and said.
Mhm.
So his normal, level of trickery and stuff probably is not going to be working. So we're going to have to see, I guess, some innovation with the character, a lot of different, perspectives, angles, and ways for Tom Hiddleston to really, really develop Loki in ways that we haven't necessarily seen in any of the movies, So I'm excited about that. He's like literally like, sign this document.
What is all that?
Of everything you've ever said. And then he says, this is ridiculous. And then he prints that page out too. He's like,
Yeah,
I
this is
like
absurd.
that.
Yeah,
this is
sign that too.
absurd. Yeah, it's on screen. So again, it doesn't really tease too much of the plot besides the fact that him taking the Tesseract and escaping after Avengers
up the
1,
time.
like you said.
Yeah.
It's
And then they need to
messed
fix
up.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this, I feel like, is a specific callback, what's on screen right now, to kind of how the Ancient One used the...
With the Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, with Banner, how she explained like the flow of time and the Infinity Stones and how they, it'll create fractures. This is like almost identical, but a more like scientific take on that exact concept right there. So I have a feeling this show will have a lot to do with that. But it seems like it's going to expand well outside of that, right? Because, Loki taking the Tesseract might have created one branch, but he's, Owen Wilson's character is like, things are going out of control, and they actually seem like they're going to recruit him to try and
fix that.
help fix it. But I have to believe that even though this might start with the event of Loki leaving with the Tesseract, that there's a lot more going on than even that. Yeah, like his jacket right here even says he's a variant. Like almost like he shouldn't exist because he broke the mold of time.
Broke the timeline. Yeah.
So that's really neat. I have heard rumor that they're really going to start using this show to push one of the next main bad guys, which is gonna be Kang the Conqueror. I don't have too much information on that. Do you have anything you could elaborate with on that?
Yeah, so if you want to go up a little bit, just keep going forward a little bit. There's in Asgard, right? There's that scene in Asgard where it's purple.
Where everything's
like right
cracked, yeah.
Yeah. Just keep going ahead a bit.
No,
that's not it, but that's... the one thing I will say, the color grading in this is so cool because like in the beginning it was very green tinted. Like the color of the screen. Well, now you've got different like various poppers. And this is another, like right here is a perfect, I think one of the comics has Loki like this, just exactly like this. So it's a very good callback or call to the comics and just really giving homage to that, which is pretty cool. Okay, so with Kang, you can, right here. Yeah, this is it basically, right? You can go in a couple frames forward. I think that's where he's actually in like the Asgard halls. Yeah, there you go. And see,
spinning around.
So to me, just to give you a little more background on Kang the Conqueror, so he's been officially announced, more or less, in Ant-Man 3, which is called Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania, and they had someone casted strictly for Kang the Conqueror. I forgot his name. What's his name here? I'm looking it up right now. Okay, I can't find the name, but someone has been cast for Kang the Conqueror. And he's a guy who's traveling through time, conquering universes, planets, all that kind of stuff. So I think they're going to hint towards it. And then, Loki is also tied to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, right? Same with the Scarlet Witch with WandaVision, right? So they're all going to tie in very nicely together. And I think the next preeminent big baddie is going to be Kang, which I agree with you. I don't know if... it's actually going to show up here, but I think they'll hint at it. I think, and that to me is like, it feels like there's going to be like time variance that they're going to go through to fix stuff up, like close the gap or close the loop, kind of speak. And that one looks like something either like in the future where Thanos destroyed Asgard, or not destroyed Asgard, like one of the Infinity Stones destroys Asgard, or it's Kang that like came through and just ripped it apart. And to me, that kind of looks like that frame. That's why I mentioned to bring that up. So.
Jonathan Majors will play the main villain, Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, and I feel like, just to add to what you're saying, like each one of these shows, or these series, if you will, has been kind of ending on a footnote that's going to lead into one of the next major movies, right? Like, of course, WandaVision is ending on the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, it would only make sense for something like this Loki show to potentially lead into, well, I don't know if it's going to lead into Ant-Man 3 or something even further sighted down the road than that. But I would expect each one of them to have kind of like an open-ended ending so that they can tie it in with like a theatrical release to really get the MCU to cover all fronts, from like streaming at home to being in the theaters when that's a thing again, and or even if it's like, you know, Disney Plus movie releases or whatever, you know. So I am pretty interested.
Yeah, no, go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, I would say I'm all for these shows. Like normally I'm not a big TV person, but the way that they've made this appealing coming off the backs of a highly successful movie franchise has me willing to break my status quo of not really keeping up with like a weekly TV release. Like the only thing I've ever really done that for was Breaking Bad and of course Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z on Toonami when I was getting off school back in the day. Other than that, I've never like been a faithful TV watcher, but they have crafted this little MCU very, very well.
You want to go ahead, scrub to about 207, 208, something like that. There's a specific thing I want to point out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could like. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of YouTube videos on breaking down the Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. But there's one I want to talk about. It's further way, like towards the end there. 209 or 207, 208, something like that. There you go. That's the image I want to see. Okay. At first, when I saw that, I thought that looked like Black Widow. Right? But then I was like, why would Loki have any relationship with Black Widow? He doesn't. Right? Then I got the wheels turning. And from, I don't know the comics too well. I don't read them a lot, but I played a lot of the Gotcha Marvel games. That looks like either Enchantress or Lady Loki. Because there's a female version of Loki out there. And that kind of looks like her. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to tie it all together. And like this here just looks like the colors are cool, right? Because it's purple, and then you've got the yellow lights out there. So just the way they framed it looks really interesting. So I don't know if you have any thoughts or theories on who that could be right there.
I honestly could say one thing and then they'll pull a 180 on me and it'll be something completely different. Like I actually thought you were onto something when you mentioned it could be Black Widow. Even though looking at it, like the armoring and the corset doesn't look quite right. So with this existing, like they're very clearly going in the multiversal, you know, multi-timeline, and dude, it could be anybody. I was surprised. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I was surprised when Sharon Carter showed back up in that, and I was not expecting that at all. And they even said like there's gonna be a cameo from someone tonight, someone else in the Marvel thing. You better expect to see a new face, and then boom, it was her, and I was like genuinely surprised. Like I didn't know who they were gonna throw out there. But yeah, again, I think this is gonna be a very good opportunity because like Thor, Chris Hemsworth originally was starting to get stagnant with the Thor role because the character himself didn't have much room to breathe until you know they opened him wide open. I feel like this could be a similar thing going on for Loki, where you know he's been in this very strict archetype for so long, and whereas I think you know Tom Hiddleston will play the character true to Loki, he'll have all these new opportunities to just do different stuff. Like just in this preview alone, we see Loki in prison garb. We see him in a detective-looking outfit. We see him, you know, in street clothes. And then we see him in like some sort of political, like vote for Loki
campaign
with his, a toned down version of his, you know, war headband with the horns on it. So, and like you said, there's
and
just
right
different
here
colors.
Yeah, I think the best thing is because they're going to probably, at least my theory is, they're going to go on a lot of time variants and loops to close. He'll play a lot of different roles, which is very refreshing if you're an actor, right? You get to play, you have a main centric character, and then you get to play like little slices off of like, oh, if he's a pilot or if he's a political opponent or if he's, you know, a detective, you know, you have your central set of values that you want to act on, but then you can kind of go off to the side a little bit and have a little more fun. So I think this is going to be pretty fun overall. I'm actually way more excited about this than I initially was. like I like Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I'm always more about the fantastical. That's my thing. So
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
all for this, and it looks great. You can tell they put up a lot of money. This is, from what I was reading, they're going anywhere from 20 to 25 million per episode, which is, to put that into context, 25 million is more than all of Game of Thrones' last season, I think, on like per episode. So they're putting a lot of money into it, but they really care about the franchise and it shows, right? So I'm really hyped up for it, and we don't have to wait too long, right? It's in June 11th, so like just 2 months. So we've got what, another 2-3 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, a little
like a
pause
week
break,
off, and then
yeah, and then we're gonna be right into Loki, which is gonna be pretty fun. So
yeah, and then there seems to be like some other shady organization here. Like these don't look like the Time Variance people. They're all suited up like SS soldiers or something, and then you have this hooded woman who, I don't know if the hooded woman right here, is this the same as the blonde chick from the little sit down like later on?
yeah,
I mean, like, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of different interesting forces at play in this show. And I feel like it's going to be kind of just as mind-bendy as WandaVision, but in a different way. Like, not
not visually
subverting your expectations, more so
right.
just like, look at all this crazy, like you said, there's just all these different situations and scenarios, and they're just all vastly different. Do we know how many episodes there's going to be, like, numerically? You said, like, 25 million per episode, but have they...
I have no idea. I could look it up real quick. They did not say anything. Nothing so far.
Well,
so
we'll
have to find out.
Yeah, I will be sitting down every week to watch this one. And like you said, and like I think I said earlier, I think I'm the most excited for this one out of any of the shows that they've shown off or, already played so far. So,
yep. Alrighty.
Yeah, I don't know what else we can say until we know more, in which case, if we get any substantial informations or maybe like if they do like another trailer, like trailer number 2 or something, we can come back and break that down for y'all as well. But if you're interested in this type of Marvel content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and as well like the video so more people out there can see it. But we will most definitely be covering all of these MCU television shows and the big budget movie releases as well in some capacity, here on 5-9. So we'd love to see you again in the future. Any other closing thoughts from you there, Nalar?
No, I mean, yeah, this is something we're doing. We've done reviews for WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. Those will still be ongoing. So if you want to see what our thoughts are, the rest of the 5-9, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live with videos. And of course, leave a comment, leave a like, all that stuff. So appreciate everybody here. And I'm really excited, guys. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. We'll catch you all next time. I'm Nolar. I'm out.
Yeah, and like Noir said, leave comments down below. Or where do you think this show is gonna really take us? Like, who do you think is gonna be the main baddie of this show? And what do you think is going on? I'd love to know everybody's thoughts. I kind of do skim through these videos after the fact. So hopefully we'll see you again real soon. Peace out, everybody.